Okay, as stated in the title, I'm going to be reviewing this quilt, the Enlightened Equipment 10 Revelation X quilt. To start out, I'm going to give a little bit of my opinion on the company, Enlightened Equipment. Overall, first impressions, I thought were very good. I had no issues with service. Tim, there's a little form right on the website, and Tim, the owner, personally will email you. At least currently, when I bought this, he has, and probably still will for quite a while. Personally email you responses to questions. It's always courteous, of course, to go look through forums and see like videos like mine and see if you can find your questions before asking him, so it doesn't put a burden on him. But he was great customer service in that respect. As soon as I put the order in, he sent the email saying like a personalized email, not just like an automatic response. Like the order will be shipped out within like 2 to 3 weeks or whatever it says. And I felt that was awesome. And of course, made in America, supporting American-made products is always a good thing. As for the quilt itself, paid $235 for this, and I think it's totally worth the price. Truthfully, I'm not gonna no one's gonna like this, but I truthfully think these should actually be priced a little bit higher, at least the warmer quilts. I feel like the price range isn't separated enough. Like, I think this one's $235 after $10 shipping, and for 10 degrees, and the 40-degree quilt's only like $50 or so less. I feel like there should be a larger gap for that kind of temperature difference, but I guess not. I don't know. But for as light as this quilt is and as warm as it is, I think that's a really good price for this quilt. Start on quality. The fabric is 1.1 ounce ripstop. It feels really strong to me, relatively thick, I guess, compared to fabrics such as the 10D. I think this is Quantum Protect or something like that. For this down hood from Z-Packs, made by Goose Feet Gear. That's who this is made by. And then of course it's the Revelation X, so it's seconds material, and I can't tell you where any seconds quality is on this. Everything looks first quality to me. So currently, majority, every person I've ever seen reviews from said the second quality looks like first quality. There might be a tiny speck, like a little, somewhere in here, like a little line that looks blemished. But otherwise I see nothing wrong. And of course, for the price difference, I didn't really care to save a few ounces to get the lighter weight stuff. And I didn't get it just because this material is stronger. I got it because mainly it's cheaper. And it was still a pound and a half lighter than my sleeping bag that was not as warm as this one was. So I got a warmer sleeping bag quilt for half the weight. The features on this, you can see right here, it has I think it's a 20-inch zipper or so that closes up the foot box, and then you have a little cord lock here that can cinch up the foot box and down to a tiny little hole, which pretty much, I guess, is mostly airtight. Like I can stick my finger through it, but with all the down packed around it at night, I don't think I've really felt any air get through. These buttons are really nice. They kind of lock up, and they hold pretty tight too. I never really had any unsnap for me. Right here, you can actually see them, and those help keep it closed up on you, and your body pretty much seals up these holes right here, and the pad or whatever below you. And so that will be sealed up by your sleeping pad, and I've never got any drafts through there. I use these two straps with my pad. I just upgraded to the X-Therm. I had a Big Agnes insulated air core. I think those are rated at 15 degrees, R value of 4 if I'm correct. Then new one I got is 5.7. So that's what I use these to wrap around, and it works quite well. There's a little bit in between, there seems to be a little bit of a gap, but I felt occasionally when I rolled over a draft come in, but otherwise it works quite well to keep the quilt secured. It won't flop off, and it's much better not having them all. I'm really glad these are here. Strap system seems kind of, straps are a little bit too long, but I guess you can always cut them off and sew everything yourself. And of course these are the first version of these straps. I bought this right in January 2013, so and that's when he just added these straps and everything. So I'm really glad I waited like a month, because I was thinking about December. I was like, I'm buying Christmas presents and everything, so I didn't want to get it yet. And so I waited until January, and because I was planning on going on a trip for the outdoor clubs here at my school, and so I ended up getting it. And right 3 weeks later, I think after I ordered it exactly, right at the beginning of February, I received this quilt in the mail. So I was very happy about that. Of course, I would love to get it below 2 weeks, like 1 week process time, the 1 week shipping time. But of course, it's an in-home small business, and can't really expect that for this kind of quality. So the fact that it's this kind of quality, I don't care that it's 3 week shipping. Too much. The neck closure I really like. This has been very useful. That's the problem with my old regular mummy sleeping bag, that drafts would go down, and with this neck closure, it's actually pulling my neck. It's over my neck like this, and all I have to do is with this cinch cord here, cinch it up. Maybe not quite this tight when I'm sleeping, because it can get a little bit uncomfortable, but no drafts come down this. The only drafts, like I said, from this side, occasionally get in there, and that helps quite a bit in terms of comfort and like warmth during the night. And this snap, I went to go unsnap it to go get stuff in the middle of the night, and I couldn't unsnap it, so that snap, and I've never had it unsnap by itself. So I'm glad he used really strong snaps. The weights of this, I'm gonna go pull it up on the side over here. It is 25 ounces, I think exactly, with those two straps, which is very good. My old sleeping bag was 48.1 ounces or something, so that's awesome how light this sleeping bag is. The one thing I do need to note, I used the Z-Packs down hood I have here, that's why I had it out, with the sleeping bag, and it helps quite a lot. I got this because of the draft problem, and because it's way warmer than that hat behind me back there, Columbia Omni-Heat beanie. I'll wear the beanie during the day, because this is not something I'm going to be going through bushes and stuff with, because it get ripped to shreds. But for at night sleeping, it provides a lot more warmth, and that should be factored into the warmth of this quilt, based on the rating I'm about to give you. The bag, the only bad thing I can say about this is I feel like, same as what happened in my town about my tent, torque pit contrail used, and this lining at the top ripped out, and so now I don't have a cinch cord at the top, and I'm afraid that might happen one day to this, so I hope it doesn't, but it really seems like it will, as well as possibly even on the quilt. I'll get up, I'll move my head around, and this will just uncinch, because I just pulled on it. I'm afraid that might happen on the quilt as well. But to get to the temperature rating, I think it's pretty accurate. I consider myself a pretty cold sleeper. It has to be pretty hot in the room for me to sweat or anything. But most of my friends complain about it's too hot, but I'm like, oh, I'm just fine. So I'm not very hot natured compared to most people, I don't think. So I've slept 2 nights in this quilt. And my first night, I went to Linville Gorge with the outdoor clubs, and I want to say the temperature got down to, it said 17 or so, around 17 to 20 degrees, but we were in a 3-person tent, but unfortunately, or could be fortunately for me, because I was first time testing this quilt, I wanted to see how good it insulated. The wind was blowing right through our tent. It was like really breezy, so I'd say the wind chills are probably at least 10 degrees, if not below 10 degrees. And I asked in the forums if wind chill really mattered, and people said no and yes, if drafts get in, yes, if not, no. But our fly blew off the tent, and we put it back on in the middle of the night, and it blew off again. And so, I'm not sure why, because ours was staked down, and the group next to us didn't stake there, so I'm not sure why ours blew off. But anyways, I think with the wind and it being about 17 to 20 degrees, I wasn't warm or I wasn't hot or anything, or warm, but I definitely wasn't freezing my butt off like I would be in my old sleeping bag. That was the Big Agnes Grouse Down. I'll have that link below so you can compare it. It's supposedly 15 degree, but on Big Agnes' site, the lower limit's 17 degrees, and I think the rating for comfort rating is 26 degrees Fahrenheit. So definitely this quilt's way better than that one. Second trip I just got back from today, so that's why I wanted to wait to do this review. That I was actually only expecting to get down to about freezing, but we got up near Mount Rogers in the Thomas Knob shelter, and we actually ended up staying in the shelter, me and my 2 other friends, but we ended up setting up the tent inside the shelter, which is kind of funny. There were 2 people on the bottom floor, and there were 4 or 5 people on the top floor, students like us, and it actually, I think, got down. The forecast for tonight is actually supposed to be 20 degrees, and the cold front came in yesterday, so what I'm assuming is it got to at least 18. It said 20 degrees on my thermometer a little bit after about 7 a.m. and that's could be around the coldest, but that was inside the shelter, and of course it's probably a little bit warmer inside there with body heat, so no wind. So I'm assuming it got down at least 18 degrees, and we were of course inside the tent with 3 people, so I'm pretty sure it stayed above freezing. But I was just wearing both nights in Linville Gorge and Grayson Highlands near Mount Rogers Thomas Knob shelter. I was wearing long underwear, smart wool long underwear, and no pants over that, with fairly thick wool socks, cheap synthetic shirt, 100% polyester, and then over that a thicker, like, kind of sports shirt with a center zip, kind of long sleeve, thick shirt, and my polyester shirt under that was short sleeve. And that's all I wore both nights. And first time in Linville Gorge, I had my jacket under me so my filter wouldn't freeze. I have the Sawyer squeeze. And then second night I forgot and left that, and my friend was using it to keep his feet warmer. And lucky enough, so that's how I know for sure it stayed above freezing in the tent. Also the moisture on the inside walls wasn't frozen yet. And so it stayed above freezing inside the tent. And I was perfectly fine until middle of the night. I didn't have this on the second night. I put this on in the middle of the night because I felt the chill. I think a little bit of breeze was coming in the tent. And I put that on the middle of the night, and the rest of the night I was pretty much fine. I wasn't even cold. Wasn't really cold at all. Woke up twice for various reasons. But otherwise, this quilt has been fantastic. I probably should have got 1 or 2 ounces to overfill to make it last longer, but I guess I've read that you can just send it back. You can get it overfilled, pay the price, and then he'll send it back to me. But I guess maybe in a few years, if I deem it necessary, I'll do that. But otherwise, I'm very happy with this quilt. It's awesome, super lightweight, super puffy. It's kind of funny how puffy it is compared to my friend's sleeping bag right next to me. It's like 4 times the height. because of all the down. It's really funny. But yeah, I've been really happy with it. Sorry if I made this video too long like my other one. But yeah, overall, I'm very happy with this quilt. If you have any questions, I'll try to answer those below. And please feel free to subscribe. I'm going to start making more of these videos on my camping gear. I have everything I need for a solo trip, but I haven't really done one yet. I'm going to start making videos of backpacking trips I go on, if I can ever get them. I don't actually have my car up here this year, so I can't go out solo even if I wanted to currently. So I have to rely on someone else. So yeah, if you have any questions, please comment below, and thanks for watching. And also, as a side note, if you're still watching, the condensation on the inside of the tent did get the sleeping bag wet on the outside, but I did not see any noticeable wetting out of the down. Like the outside was wet, and like nothing out. Like on my down hood, and my nose was running all day because it was cold. And right here, and I think it's still a little bit wet actually. It got this wet, and you can tell how the fabric is wetted out. I couldn't see any of that on the quilt. And as soon as we took the fly off and the tent down, and the fly off, all the cold air rushed into the tent, and it actually froze the water on the sleeping bag. So I ended up, because I was kind of rushed out by my friends because it was so cold and we wanted to get back to the car, that I just stuffed it up with frozen ice on the sleeping bag, and so I've been letting it dry out in my room the whole day. But yeah, so it seems to be pretty good against having a little bit of water resistance too. So yeah, I just wanted to add that, and thanks for watching.